Welcome to a Live on One, a miniatures focused podcast. I'm here tonight with my boy Jian. How's it going, Jian?
Hey, Stephen. How's it going?
It's going. And also our special guest, Pedro. How do you say your name, Pedro? Pedro?
Pedro.
That's really difficult. I'm just
Pedro,
kidding.
actually.
Pedro. Oh. Little inside joke there, I guess. But and tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about Black Order. I know Pedro played them for a while, and so we're just kind of having him on. And the faction's not in a great spot, so we're going to talk a little bit. All of us have played some games, and this was kind of inspired from our wish list episode over Christmas, where Jin talked about fixing Black Order, but we want to kind of talk about the current state of Black Order. So that's the intention for this evening, and we're just going to kind of riff on some of those themes. And I saw Jin play a game last night with Black Order as well. So
it's been a very interesting journey with them.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. I was going to ask you to tell us more, but it's funny seeing you play attrition factions sometimes. Because I don't know, sometimes in the backseat I'm like, turn on the gas, Jin, turn it on. And then you grab an objective, and I'm like, oh. But
just utter disappointment. If you're the Sifu on the mountain, you like slap my hand. It's like, what are you doing?
Roll dice. But yeah, it's interesting to see you play attrition faction sometimes. So we'll just leave it at that, because I think you're naturally inclined to play the mission more than just like taking attacks, which is obviously a good way to play it. But with attrition faction, sometimes it's better to just like swing dice into somebody.
I miss win conditions that are just like, it's like, oh, you're like 6 points down, but you can totally just kill everybody now. It's like, no, I'm gonna pick up this objective instead. It was like, shake my head. What was I doing?
Yeah, I know. Like some, like your teammate WTC teammates have also kind of pointed that out occasionally. They're like, turn on the gas, Jin. Drive, baby, drive. But we'll get to that. But Black Order, not surprisingly, is still pretty much attrition affiliation. So without further ado, Pedro, you got an Live on One moment?
Yes, it is actually with Web Warriors, which Jin would be extremely familiar with. I was playing my friend, and he was doing Spidey foes versus webs, so as thematic as it can get. And it was on Spider Infected and Infinity Formula, and he had to kill my Black Cat. So he ends up pushing me with the Spider Infected, blows up a size 3 van with Green Goblin, and leaves me exactly on 1. And that started the round, where I then proceeded to murder his Green Goblin and his Carnage with my Spider-Man 2099. That was on full power. And then he just shook my hand and just went, cool, we're done. Thanks. And then we just went to go get empanadas afterwards.
The empanadas sound like the best part of that.
Yes.
Did Black Cat do anything with that?
Absolutely not. She was a straight up tank. I was rolling as hot as I could that game, as usual.
Very good. For audience members that don't know, Pedro's dice are legendarily infamous in their own ways.
They need to be melted down, in my humble opinion.
I think Rob would say that we should all clean our dice, is probably what he would say.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he does wash his dice.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever seen this, but yeah, you'll show me pictures of like here's a bowl, here's like all the debris of your dice, because obviously like skin contact over time, like you're gonna have messy dice actually. So hygienically, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think the grime adds some weight to it, so I think I might leave mine alone.
So, Pedro, I know we're getting on a tangent here, but like a long time ago, I read an article about dice, and it was about how some of the molds can actually come out unintentionally weighted, And so when you have a good set of dice, it could very well be that they're accidentally like have a little bit too much weight on like the skull or something, to give you crits. Or so like that's like a real thing. No one's accusing you, but you might have like a really good set of dice. So.
Okay, so funny story on that one. When we went to PAX, I had to face into Mike Dembois, who was playing Inhumans, and Will handed me a pair of dice and said, "You have to use these." And they were brand new, unopened packs of AMG yellow dice. And I proceeded to still roll like 20 crits that whole game.
Oh. Well, maybe.
Okay, but was it the dice tray?
It was actually not on the dice tray either.
Is it your fingers?
Probably.
Do you somehow know like magic?
I think so. Voodoo magic here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what my dad calls what I study.
That was the best thing when Dembois went, "Okay, I'm going to whisper your name, or I need you to just shit the bed." And I proceeded to roll 5 blocks perfectly. And he went, "Okay, that's it." On a whisper.
It's AMG's dice.
Yep.
Cool. So moving on a little bit. Hobby catch up. So I'll just talk about what I'm doing. I'm building lots of Tau. I probably said that on a recent episode, but it's still true. About to get those going. I got to buy a good primer, and I picked out a paint scheme with Rob, actually, the aforesaid Washing Your Dice Rob, who's been on here before. So he helped me kind of pick out a cool color scheme using the color wheel. So fun fact, where I'm applying the episode we recorded to my painting, which is kind of fun. And he taught me a lot about cell shading too, so we're going to try to add some of that into it. So pretty excited actually to do like an army project. Obviously it's going to be a while, and I'll get bored and have to paint some MCP models and things like that, and some commissions and things like that. But I'm excited to do that because I miss it, to an extent. So that's me. Pedro, you got anything?
So far, I actually started painting my Halo Flashpoint stuff. So
nice.
I have a Master Chief I am currently working on, and then I go back and forth between Halo and MCP. So then after Master Chief, I'm probably going to knock out 2099 because I think he deserves it after the rock star he is, and then probably go back to Halo and start knocking out all those miniatures really quick.
And then Death Guard.
Yeah, right. And then Death Guard on TTS. I think that'd be the perfect paint job for me.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Pedro promised to play a 40k game with me on TTS. That'll be good. And Jen, you working on anything?
Just some more Shatterpoint builds for the league that I'm in right now. There's some Galactic Republic models that I wanted to build just for some more options.
Yeah, building models I'm realizing it is not my favorite part of this hobby. If it could come pre-built, I'd actually be pretty okay with that. I like to paint them. I do not enjoy building them sometimes. Sometimes it feels like adult Legos, especially like some of the 40k kits I'm realizing, because you're like, oh, put this cool extra thing so in pose them really cool. But I don't know. It's more annoying than anything to me.
So Miss Marvel normal form is your favorite model in MCP?
Miss Marvel?
Yeah. Because she's just actually...
Did she come pre-built?
Yeah, she's basically one piece. There's no building or anything.
Yeah, I actually did really like that when I remember I built... now that you're kind of sparking the memory, I remember I was pretty stoked about that actually. I remember opening her and being like, oh yeah, finally, just glue her to the base. So...
Yeah, it felt like opening a Mighty Max or something again, or something way back in the day.
Yeah, well, there's a couple game systems that do that have them gray, but they come built. And I think one of the ones we mentioned it last time was that Star Trek one. The ships come built, but they're gray, so you can paint them. I actually would really, really prefer that. I know it's a fortune. It probably costs a fortune for the molds to do that, but I don't know. some people like building. I've met a few people in my time. One of my close friends who lives in Connecticut, actually, who lives in Connecticut, Jin. His name is Lou. He loved building models. Like, he really found it very meditative. I don't know, it's not my shtick. So,
I mean, having the glue stick to all your fingers so you can't open your hand is very appealing.
Really enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the flip side,
with
Jin's statement about Miss Marvel, I believe Ant-Man, the small version, does not have to be built either.
Yeah, it's been so long since I put those kits together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the small Wasp was not like that because you had to put her wings on, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, anyways, building aside, have fun doing that, Jin. We have a couple event announcements. Not sure when this is actually airing. So, that being said, CaptainCon currently has 6 teams. It's on January 30th, the singles event, and then 31st to February 1st is the team event. So you can sign up for that or reminisce on maybe a recent episode where we talk about team events again. And recap that event specifically. So it either happened or sign up now. So
Yep. So thank you for coming out to CaptainCon. This is coming out after CaptainCon. But if it hasn't happened yet, you should go to CaptainCon, guys. Come through.
There we go. I love it. And something that will definitely not have happened at all is our Live on 1 tournament, March 21st. So sign up for that too at Midgard Games in Derry, New Hampshire. There is a famous chicken place that we went to last year that you are more than welcome to come to if you decide to come up for that. But hopefully hoping for some good attendance there. So that's kind of our intro stuff. So let me just quickly jot down this timestamp. I will be doing that every episode. But without further
listening pleasure, we will now timestamp the banter so that you can get right into the meat of the episode.
Yeah, they've been on all of them that we've done recently. So I've made sure to jot down the timestamp. But now that we talked about it, I have to extend it out. So without further ado, so tonight we're talking about Black Order. This is an affiliation that has been around for a while. When did Thanos come out?
Let me see. I'll take a look.
I assume it was after the Wakanda wave.
It was July 9th, 2020.
July 9th, 2020, so like 5 years. Yep. Oh, so that was pretty early in the game.
Yeah, pretty early, yep.
You can tell it's early models because Corvus still hasn't attacked since Strike.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Strike. That's the big thing that gives it away.
So the first Captain America came out November 14, 2019. So it's almost a full year, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It was pretty early on.
Yep.
Yeah, and they obviously have had, I think part of the problem that we'll talk about here too is like Thanos was kind of OP for quite some time, especially outside of his affiliation. And so there's been a lot of reworks to his card. I think 3 in total, I want to say.
Well, yeah. So
nothing more.
Well, I mean, like in the sense that there is there's several things that they changed, right? The throw trigger is a lot harder to get because there's 2 triggers that you need to hit for that one. The free gem abilities are now tied to his leadership, so he only gets his best version of himself in Black Order now.
Yep.
The Cosmic Portal used to be able to teleport enemies as well. Now it's just allies that you can teleport. And finally, the Death's Decree actually is the one thing that did get buffed here, and that is the fact that you get the dice power activation during the create dice step instead of the targeting step. So it's important so that you can't can't Eye in the Sky away. For instance, like you could have spent Death Decree, but Eye in the Sky the target away, so then they'd lose that buff, right? And you can't use it for the rest of the round. Now you get to see what the finalized target is, and now you can create the dice pool afterwards.
Okay, makes sense.
And then just to add on to that, you don't get he got nerfed with the lead because now you don't get victory point on grunts anymore.
True.
But side grade, you get the VPs on both sides of the card now. Now you don't get the bad leadership on the backside that just kills your own models.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I remember that being controversial. But Thanos' most popular affiliation historically was not Black Order; it was in fact Cabal. So, they've been through a lot of. This is all to say, kind of, they've been through a lot of reworks. March, April last year was when they kind of made him an affiliated piece. But alongside that, with the mission changes, getting rid of EMAPs, Black Order has continued to kind of struggle since then. And I think, to kind of gently or briefly cover it, the current playstyle is more of an attrition. A lot of the models are designed to kill. Corvus got kind of a nerf because the Reality Stone changed. But his kit with the Reality Stone is designed to murder. And Black Swan also, has like an incredible spender that almost never needs the follow-up attack. So it's just this crazy spender. So she's kind of designed to kill. Ebony Maw is more of a control piece, but then you have like Proxima, more of also kind of like a 3-threat control piece. And okay, we don't have to go over all the characters until later, but I think current playstyle is like more of an attrition faction, less of a kind of mission playing faction, and they have a lot of like tanky guys because you attach stones to them and their threat value goes up. So you're talking a lot of like 5 and 6 threats or more. So
yeah, and a good amount of them have some sort of like damage reduction, right, or some sort of like defense tech, right? So
yeah. So I mean, that kind of, I don't think, unless you have anything to add, either of you, like that feels like a general play style, attrition type thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you can go wider with them.
How many buckets of dice can you throw at someone effectively?
Yeah. And so Thanos' leadership is when you KO a character, which I actually realized I played wrong in a game now. So they have to remove a model from the battlefield, and you gain a VP. Or you can take the hold on one sec. You can take the card, which is stacks of leadership onto Corvus, which when you daze or KO, all other Black Order characters gain a power. Which is like, I like Thanos' better, because it's like straight VP for something you already want to do. But Thanos is, we'll talk about this, I'm sure. Thanos is really hard to fit in to use in a list, unfortunately, because he kind of wants the 2 gems, and maybe there's a lot of options here, right? Because like the gems are optional, so like when you're building a Black Order list too, it's like, do I add a gem? What gem do I add? Do I not? Do I just do no gems? Like it is a question you kind of have to ask. And I've seen like a lot of lists over the past year with all varieties of like gem equipment on them. Some without, some with, like especially Corvus and Thanos in particular. I think it's kind of accepted that Black Swan gets the power gem.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's kind of like, mix and match, and it's up to you to kind of like figure that out as a Black Order player. So without further ado, do we just want to talk about some of the characters?
Yeah, sounds good. Do you want to go through the affiliated characters first to sort of like get a groundwork of what we're looking at?
Yeah, let's do that. So obviously we mentioned Thanos. We can start there because he's the really interesting character from like the comics, and obviously everyone who listens to this has more than likely seen, the Infinity War movies, and they did a really great job kind of expressing his character there. But which makes him, which for me at least, like when I was, after listening to the episode, Jin, I was like, well, I want to play Thanos. You know what I mean? Because it's like the thematic character, the most thematic. He's Thanos, right? And I think you don't need any more introduction. But with the nerfs and a couple practice games, because I was forcing him in my own practice games, I mean, he feels fine. Honestly, he still feels fine in Black Order. But where he doesn't feel fine is actually like turn zero decisions, right? Because I was taking mind space on him because that's what I'm used to. And maybe that's like my fatal mistake, but I mean, the damage reduction still good. His strike, still like it's okay. His cosmic blast is like still pretty good if you're flush for power. But you're still kind of cosmic portaling. You're still using the mind gem. I think for the most part. So at a minimum, you're kind of like advancing two characters. So he still has that kind of control aspect to him, which is nice. But
yeah, so
yeah,
I think it really depends on like the gem loadout is going to dictate like what style of Thanos you're playing, right?
it's true. Yeah, that's very
So
true.
I initially tried the mind gem, but what my experience was that Thanos doesn't have like good enough mobility to sort of like get the most out of his actions, right? So what I ended up doing was actually giving him the Space Stone instead of the mind gem.
Did you keep him at a 7 threat, Jin?
No, I actually took the Soul Gem. That's like my second gem of choice,
Oh,
actually.
interesting.
So to explain the reason why I was going with Soul Gem was the fact that the best thing about his kit now, I think, is going to be the Death's Decree, because it's so reliable to add the dice now. So you want to just have the ability to have power in it. Now, you could take the Power Gem, but that's for Power Swan first.
Yeah.
But also, because he's a relatively tanky model that just damage reductions, right? The Soul Gem will allow you to be within the middle of the fray, to be within range 4 of these enemy characters, and you'll likely just generate a ton of power, like as the turns go on. So by the time your next character gets to go, they should have the ability to cash in on the that 2 power for Death's Decree, and give that out to them.
Yeah, I like that. That also kind of leans into the fact that he's now more of a support piece than anything. So
yeah, and the thing is that if you're looking for displacement, I mean, both his strike and cosmic blast still displace actually. So while it's not as reliable as the mind gem, it's still options on the kit that you still have to displace people.
The cosmic blast is really good too, because like usually I don't know, you're doing like more than like, especially with your build, you're doing probably like a 7 dicer, 6-7 dicer.
So yeah, actually, when I was using the Soul Gem, I actually would normally get quite a bit of power, and I was usually throwing 8 dice cosmic blast into people, so it was really good.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. So that also makes his own kit kind of like more attrition-y, which is where you want to be, I think, as an affiliation in general. So that's cool. I like that, Jim. Pedro, what kind of Thanos do you? What flavor of Thanos do you use?
I'm boring space mine.
Still okay.
So yeah, no, I've done a lot of space only, and I try to like double move myself, or like I'll move myself plus then I'll cosmic portal someone. So, because I believe space you can, choose this character. So I would end up moving myself plus I'll try to move someone else, or like move, punch someone, teleport someone. So I'm used to that, where then my 7, he becomes a 7 threat, which then helps with squad building a little bit. When you want to start splashing in other characters or higher threats, you can go a little bit taller. You can actually go a lot wider than you normally can, versus you being an 8 is a little bit harder. But I actually like Jin's idea with Soul Gem, just because you're getting all this power from all the reactive stuff, which is that's actually a really interesting point that he makes. The only thing is, will it still work if it's on someone else's turn, like a Emma or like someone that has a shapeshifter, because it's automatic, correct?
Yeah, it's an innate power, so since it's not a reactive, it still should work.
Oh, okay. That could
Yeah,
be
kind of like
actually really
that.
interesting.
I think maybe there's even like room for argument where you just take Soul
Yeah.
and just kind of like depend on Cosmic Portal and keep him at 7 too. Because like I think Pedro, you also raise a good point that I've noticed in my games. It's really hard to fit Thanos into a roster,
Yes.
unless you're like at 1920, and even then, it's like, well, it's still difficult. So, seven threat definitely I think helps that a little bit, but I guess like overall, when you're playing Black Order, figuring out where you want to go with your Thanos gems is probably your first step, because then it also, opens up to give the other dudes gems, basically.
And I don't think you ever bring time on him. I've tried it once and it was horrible.
Yeah.
Unless it was old time, then it would have been amazing.
In power would be good, but I think we're all of the mind that like Black Swan with Power Stone gem is just like ridiculous.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
So you have to save that for her. In reality, to be fair, you probably want on Corvus, if anyone. So, yeah, that leaves you with only four stones. So yeah, you Mind Soul Space, you're probably looking at playing around with.
Yeah. Unless there's a world you don't take Corvus, which is a bad idea, but because he's struggling with his power, it could be a thing that you just say, okay, let me just stick it back on Thanos, and maybe you do like Reality Soul.
And
then
that could be an interesting combo.
Yeah, because then you can start, if you're rolling skulls, you turn them into crits, it's free, you're not really messing up your power. And then any reactives someone else would do, you're still also gaining power. So it's almost like a net zero.
Yeah. And
Or
like
actually
having reality on like a 7 or 8 dice spender that he has is like pretty nasty too. So
yep.
But yeah, Desecree is only another allied character too. So like, I mean, that's like his big thing too, and that's always been his big thing, right? Like you have a Zemo. We all know the day Zemo at 10 dice or 9 dice for his builder, 10 dice for his spender, whipping around. I'm sure lots of our listeners have seen that in the past.
So. It's pretty good. News at 11.
yeah. If you want to crank Zemo's efficiency up, you just Desecree him. So yeah, my God, that guy Zemo. Anyways, all right. So we got Thanos. You kind of want to decide where you go from there. I'll do all the ones first that people kind of take. So why don't we? So we have Supergiant.
That is not a model.
Take. No one takes.
No, I know. I was like, well, we can do the ones that people take, and wait for Supergiant at the last, where we can just get her out of the way. She exists. Lots of problems. I think I'll reference how Jin changed her on our Christmas episode. So because you kind of go over why she's currently bad too. So I think we'll just leave it at that, unless anyone has any pressing things they want to say.
I mean, so to sum it up very quickly, short move is on a small basis very tough in this game because of the high amount of rotation that a lot of secures ask you to do these days. And if she gets thrown or placed somewhere or advanced somewhere, because she's vulnerable to all those displacements that are not pushes, it can be a very rough time for her, Additionally, the attacks that she has, the Devastate Intellect, is just way overcosted for what it is. I know the pie in the sky, like, Magical Christmas Land, when you get the Devour Mind trigger to daze somebody or KO a Hulk, is awesome, but it's not going to happen. And you also need to have 8 power to do it. And she has a gainer, and she has her own kind of like area, like checking for crits to get power, but it's not enough to get 8 power like reliably in the game. You get it maybe once a game, if that.
But what about Heimdall? I'm just kidding.
Pause.
Yes. Okay. So if you wanted to, here's my locals. Okay, you can get Psionic Constructs with Psylocke. Okay, Planes of Podok and Convocation, and then
just
Heimdall.
roll everything.
Hear me out. Clea and Thanos buffing Supergiant Spender. I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, that's all cute. That's where we're going with this. Probably not a
it's
viable
a lot
strategy.
The amount of power and resources you put into this could have just gone to normal attacks that would just kill people, instead.
Yeah. Yep. As much as I like those ideas, yes, where they're not quite going to win you
a game.
Every games or any.
I don't think it's going to win you any game.
Yeah, that's a fun meme. Like, you're just doing an experiment with your friends.
Yeah.
But the things I do kind of like about her is that I played games against Supergiant that people have used her like in earnest, and that submit power where you can grab people from civilians from a distance actually is very, very relevant in quite a few games, especially once you start thinning out their models and maybe they can't really interact with Supergiant at a certain point. She can start just hoovering up extracts right from people.
Yeah, that's true. She does need a lot of rework though, and I don't want to spend too much time on her because there's some more interesting pieces. So that's Supergiant. She's there. Now let's get to some of the better options. Or slightly better options. I guess we'll go with I'll just kind of do this in reverse order of what's showing up here for me. So we'll go to Proxima. Proxima's a great 3 threat. I don't think she's really good, and she's a 3, kind of your only affiliated 3. She can't take a stone too, which makes her stay at 3.
I mean, Supergiant is your affiliated 3 as well. Just saying.
No.
That doesn't count.
Yeah. 3 that you might take, actually take.
Yeah. In a game. Proxima Nerdist is really good. Actually, I was splashing her in my Whip Swords list for a while.
Remember.
Yeah, because she was a solid it's oh, go grab an objective, and you probably won't die between a reroll and the DR.
Yeah, she's a good midline grabber, long move, right? So, her spear throw isn't terrible because it's kind of one of those place things. Kind of like Shang-Chi or Iron Fist. Then she's got a strike with 5 dice strike with Pierce. So and damage reduction, as you mentioned. So plus the Gamora type martial prowess thing where you roll 5 and then you give your enemy damage. So solid 3. Really solid 3 especially for an affiliation that's kind of lacking low threat, decent models. So.
Yeah. Also, just having affiliate, how we feel about affiliated long movers, they're awesome. So she fits that bill. And then the Quantum Starburst actually is very interesting because it's a range 4 spender, which I really like because it bypasses a lot of defensive tech, against Shang-Chi or something. That can occasionally be a good way to just ice them out.
Yeah, and the condition, that's no joke. Just giving 3 conditions for dealing damage, it's pretty solid. Too, as an energy attack too. So normally you're going 6 into 3, you're more than likely to do 1 point of damage at least. So then they gain bleed, poison, stun. I wish it was before damage, but she's a 3 threat. so
Can't be that good. Can't be that good.
Yeah.
And she doesn't need a lot of power to do stuff. I feel like she's just good overall.
She turns on her own kit. She really doesn't need. She's a great, as Jim was saying, she's a great extract holder because she doesn't take much for her to spend her power. She doesn't really need that much power for her whole kit to just be online. And then you're talking later turns where you start getting that power for the spender. So overall pretty good.
Yeah. So mainly you're just saving the 1 power, right? You don't to just double activate her than Corvus, right? That's probably the order of operations you go with.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, which I think is the most powerful thing on her card because it can actually save you priority, just in case you start murdering stuff, which you probably want to do.
Yeah, if you're trying to take out models, there's nothing wrong with doing that. And you probably will still have priority, right, after you activate her and Corvus together.
So there was a question that I had come up too in this, and in a practice game when I double activated them. Can you only Death's Decree one of them because it's once per turn, and does that count as 1 or 2 turns?
This is still the same turn, so yes, Death's Decree can only be used once, as far as I know. Would you agree, Pedro?
Yes. Yep. And you
Okay.
usually would want to save it for Corvus. I don't think you really need it for Proxima as much.
Yeah, well, some of us, this is our first couple of games playing
No,
Black
I
Order.
understand. I got you.
What? You don't know everything, Steven?
Come on.
Some of us fucked up.
Oops.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. I think there is an FAQ on that because I think in that practice game, I believe we looked it up when it was happening, and I got sad face emojis.
Yeah.
So
to be fair, like the concept of like here's the overall player turn, but then there's activations within the player turn is something that I still have a challenge explaining to people sometimes. So I get it, dude.
It's like a grunt, though, right? Basically, when you double activate them.
Right. Yeah. So the grunt and then parent activate, right? But it's still the same player turn, right? Even though it's two activations.
Makes sense. And that's kind of like what we concluded in the game as well. It was just one of those moments where it's like, oh. And she has a tactics card with Corvus. That's pretty good. Actually, I want to say this like just right off the bat. The tactics cards for Black Order affiliation are like excellent. Overall, when I was reading them, I was like, wow, these are actually like really solid cards. In general. So unfortunately, they're tied to models that aren't necessarily as solid as they could be. But yeah. So the card is basically you have to be within a certain range. Corvus and Proxima have to be together, and then they each spend 2 power, which is kind of a big tax. But the enemy character rolls no defense dice, so can be good situationally. Well, if, and like we just mentioned, Proxima doesn't mind spending her power because she doesn't really need a lot to turn on her kit. So like maybe late game, that is an option. And maybe you're looking to gain extra power. And when you do that, if you're under Corvus leadership, everyone else will gain power who wasn't attacking. And then when you're under Thanos, that could be a VP situation. So it can be like a card that could be very good for you. So
yeah, I think if you're playing against a team that has high quality dice, right, that's maybe where it comes in.
Like shield or something, like the double bubble.
Right. Yeah. When Namor, blocks like 6 attacks on like 6 damage on 5 dice or 4 dice, like it's crazy. So yeah, that happens sometimes. I don't know, Pedro. What do you think about Execute?
I think it's amazing. I've played it almost every single game. I play Corvus and Proxima. I do set it up where you do the spear throw as your second action to land within 1 to activate Corvus, then to start executing someone. And I think the best benefit you could do it is on a model that is flipped that has health that has increased. So I had one game where I flipped someone's Magneto and he goes from like 6 to 8, and then you execute Magneto. And then it basically kills him, because if you're doing a Death's Decree, Spender with Corvus plus a death blow, you're almost reliably going to one-shot him. Because that is a lot of dice that you're pumping out right there.
Yeah, that's a good point too, is like when your opponent, like maybe you put on enough pressure the turn before to like daze a model, and then you're trying to remove models off the board. Just kind of having that in your hand allows you to like finish up a threat off the board. So
this is going to be very relevant against Steve's, actually, like Steve 1 and Steve 3.
Who, me?
Yes.
You are our Captain America.
Are you Steve 1 or Steve 3? Stephen Borg.
I'll be discount Steve. Maddox can be wild trigger Steve.
But yeah, like if you think about it, like characters that count blanks on their backside or something, right? That could be really important to sort of like try to remove those models, especially their leaders.
Yeah. It's a good. I mean, I think it's a really good card, which is again like a theme we'll kind of see. But I guess moving on to the next model on here.
Should we just go to Corvus, since we were already talking about him?
Oh, sure, but now we're jumping around on the thing that I'm looking at, so I don't know. No, that's.
I mean, we literally just talked about his wife, so maybe we should talk about husband now.
Yeah, Corvus. Okay. One of my favorite scenes from any Marvel movie actually involves Corvus. Speaking of Steve, I don't know if I should go on this tangent, but it's real quick. So during Infinity War, when they're like fighting in the subway, and then it like cues the Captain America music, it's like dun dun dun. So Steve after the train, it's like one of my favorite moments, and I love that music, and that's Corvus is in that scene. So here we are. So first off, we have to talk about his kit. He's allowed to take the reality or the time gem. I know, if you've been a veteran MCP player, reality Corvus is, you've probably seen him across from you at some point. They changed the reality stone now. I still think it's not an auto take anymore, but it is like definitely an option. Because it's the old Malekith, superpower where he can change a skull into a crit, and then you pop him, or Red Skull 3/2, the Cabal leadership. He has the Red Skull 2. Sorry, excuse me. Referencing too many Red Skulls. The Red Skull 3 lets you leadership, lets you turn a skull into a crit, and Red Skull 2 lets you count blanks, and he can have both. With the reality gem and his superpower Glaive's Edge. So it's a little costly, to be fair, but if his kit is kind of like, I don't know, in my opinion, he just doesn't have enough health, but maybe the extra health changes across the board will help him play a little better. But yeah, I don't know. Take Corvus. Someone talk about him, not me.
Okay. You have something to go with, Pedro?
I love this character. My only problem with him is that he has no action compression. And in terms of, if you displace him, he's sitting like a potato. Unless you spender. And I think if you just know how to play around him, he doesn't do enough. And I think the nerf to Reality Stone just hurts too much at the moment. Just because if you don't connect with any of your attacks, you're just doing nothing. Versus at least, and if you have like no power, you can't spend for anything. So I think there are ways to play him differently right now. And I'm wondering if the reason why they nerfed Reality Stone and made it a power is to force people to use Atom Splitter, which I know a lot of people forget that he actually has a gainer on his card. And maybe you use that more often than none, just to start funding his kit on round 2, and then you start doing things. But yeah, maybe an extra health also, like you said. But the reduce plus counting a skull as crit, I don't think you really have a problem with the health portion of it.
Well, Pedro, you forget that I was not running him with the reality stone.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, that too. Yeah. That was the biggest problem.
He never has the time,
Yes.
Yeah, well, so this was actually a serious in context of like list building problem for me with Black Order, was like having so many 5 threats. And so I did like look online to see what people were doing with Black Order, and there were a few lists where Corvus was just a 4 threat without the reality gem. So I thought, hey, let's give this a shot. I did not like it. So in later iterations of my list I was building, I added it on to him and just like lived with the fact that I had like an 8 threat and 3 5s. So yeah, that's a it is an issue when we're talking about Black Order.
No, it is prevalent. It is.
Yep.
So basically, like the cost of his abilities, like it felt like you want the stone, right, to be there to sort of pay for the powers, right? Like Glaive's Edge being like 3 power versus like Red Skull that only needs 2, right? It's just a huge like difference, right? When every bit of power is kind of spoken for in this. So the reason why like I am thinking that the First Black Order is kind of like very weird to use, right? His leadership is that because Corvus doesn't have any action compression, he really needs Thanos to actually like taxi him around so he can actually set him up for good positions, and he definitely very much benefits from the Death's Decree, to help build that power. So when you don't run Thanos with Corvus feels really rough because he's so easy to control, because he's a size 2 with no helmet tech or anything like that. So you can displace him any which way possible, and his turns become very sad, especially as a 5 threat, right? So the way I sort of think of it is that, well, if you're running Corvus, Thanos needs to be there to help him. And if you're not, then you should just play leaderless Black Order. And if you're not playing the run Thanos.
Mm. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I saw you do that last night, which I was like, that's an interesting build. I agree. I don't think I came to that conclusion quite yet in my own practice games. But that would be reason enough. So, like, you just don't take the 4th threat Corvus, is what you're saying, right? You always take him with the reality gem.
I wouldn't, just because it takes, like, he just wants to get the kid online, right? And the reality stone definitely helps him get that kid online as soon as possible.
Yeah. Makes sense. I mean, he's got good stuff on his card, you know? Like,
yeah, in a vacuum, all things are really good. You know, it's just that as a 5 threat, the Atom Splitter does seem kind of rough to play with. But then you realize it's like, well, it's like four dice, but you also get the counter skull potentially, right? So it kind of makes up for the lack of initial dice, you know, with like better faces that you can play. A death blow that with the Glaive's Edge though is like terrifying for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but that costs 7 power, so that's quite expensive. Unlike Red Skull's, you know, who's at the same threat level as him, right?
Yeah.
With the reality gem, you know, Red Skull obviously gets that off more reliably, and it's only 1 less dice. So, yeah, we are. Some of the stuff on Black Order, though, I do notice is like it's like. Maybe this is because of early design. It's like excessively killy to the point where like you lose efficiency. You know, like he has this problem with his death blow. Black Swan has that problem with her spender, where the triggers are like the amount of dice you're throwing at someone, like you're probably going to kill them, you know, on your first go, and then having like an attack trigger after like feels wasted. You know what I mean?
Well, so, the nice thing about the flurry, right, is that you can play against somebody else. You don't have to
you can target anyone.
Yeah. Maybe this is more of a Black Swan issue than a Corvus one. Then,
yeah, we'll get to her because I have problems with her spender. I think I kill things too fast.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, Corvus's kit pretty solid in a vacuum. But I do agree with everything that Jin said. He's a Thanos piece, and unfortunately, he has a leadership tied to him. I wish they did that leadership tied to no one, you know, kind of like a Spider-Verse type thing where you can just take Black Order and you get access to that. That would help.
Yeah, that would have been much better and would have been in theme, right? Because it's limited to Black Order models anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I don't know. Well, maybe we'll see a fix on that at some point in the future, hopefully. Cool. So moving on, and we can just talk about we'll go to Ebony. Great model. I mean, I think out of all of the 5 threats, even if they have a stone, Ebony is probably the most solid. He can take a stone. He can take Mind in Space, which if you're not running one of those on Thanos, he becomes like definitely a good option for either of those. He does clock in at a 6th threat, unfortunately, but the extra power does turn his kit online. Again, like these all seem like they were intended to take stones to some extent. So,
for Ebony Maw, he does actually create 2 additional power normally, right? So he can just walk throw like without any gems.
Yeah, I missed that. So he's probably like just your most solid 5 threat in the affiliation. You don't really need to do much on him. You can just take him as is. And then he's gaining 4 power, so his spender's online if he takes a gem.
Yeah. But you can also just I guess by the time you attack somebody, right? Then the next turn, you know, you'll have the spender online. But yeah, I guess with a gem you could walk spender or someone like immediately.
Yeah, if you take like the space, then you can like teleport yourself, walk, and then hit someone with a range 4 8 dice spender. So it's not the worst thing in the world.
Nope, and you don't get power from this spender too, which is pretty juicy actually.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah,
I just wish the throw was size 3. feel like that's all he's missing.
Isn't it size?
No,
Oh,
it's
on
size
the
2.
spender.
On the
Yeah,
spender,
on the spender. I was like, doesn't he have a throw that's size 3?
Oh, no,
He
yeah,
does.
size 4. It's great. It is awesome.
Yeah.
I just wish that the throw on the spender was size 3. I think that would be a little bit better. Everything else on the kit is awesome. And Shush is an amazing tactics card.
Yeah. So the throw, honestly, now in the current era, and this is kind of like a thing that a lot of people have talked about, a lot of these like 3 power for a size 4 kind of like are inefficient now. But that's a whole game problem we're in right now with a lot of models, so he does suffer from that a little bit. But
yeah, but at the same time, size 4 for mainstream first is it's a long range, right? They can destroy tray from, so it's great to sort of get rid of cover, right? That's in line of sight blocking, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, and maybe, honestly, I haven't thought about this too much, but like maybe the way they cost throws now should be like based on how long they can throw. I don't know if they're already costed that way, but that seems like a solution to what's going on since only 3 damage. Anyways, so he's got a cool builder. Wild, you get to move advance on S, the target character. It's a gainer, so he can just reliably gain power. His spender is an 8 dice mystic with a wild throw size 2. They don't gain any damage. And then he can stop collision damage for 2 power. And then he has a tax like Mysterio tax where he gets his 6 dice mystic unless you pay 2, which is actually kind of a big tax. So
yeah, but at least for him, he still has 4 energy defense. So against energy blasters, he's not completely like out to dry.
Yeah, only against physical, but I mean that's 2 power is like quite a big tax, and he's designed to kind of be a backline piece anyway. So it can be like I don't know, like there's nothing in his kit that I think is like out of all the characters in Black Order, he's probably one I would change the least.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It would just be small, super small tweaks. I wouldn't do anything with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, he does have some tactics cards. You guys want to talk about those?
Shh. Just kidding. That's one. That's one of his tactics cards.
Got him.
Yeah, we did a dad joke. We did, boys. Yeah, you guys can talk about that. Yeah,
Pedro, you want to talk about? Shh.
Yeah, I will. So Shh is a insanely great tactics card when an enemy character within 5 of an allied Ebony's Maw spends 1 or more power on a regular superpower reactive. Ebony Maw can spend 3 and completely shut it off, and you do not get to use that ability for the rest of the turn. But you still have to pay for the superpower. I think this card is stapled to him. I don't think I've ever seen a game where this card has not been stapled to Ebony Maw if he's on the table. I think it's just too good, and there's too many opportunities where you could play it.
No, agreed. I took it in a game yesterday, and I kept looking for windows in there. And even though I didn't get to use it, there were at least like 2 or 3 windows that I probably could have actually used it in retrospect, and like that could have actually swung the game with the right timing, right? And the fact is, you can make something considered used is huge to turn off that once per turn like ability as well.
Yeah. Yep. And then it also shuts off any form of rerolls. Say if you're going into like a 2099, you're like, okay, I know he has a skull, but I really need him to stay put. If you're playing like New Web's leadership, you could shush his accelerated decoy, so then he doesn't place 2 plus a skull, which then puts you completely out of range, so you can't do anything else.
Oh, that's a good point. And yeah, sorry, I missed the phrase where it says you can't use it for the rest of the turn anyway. So even if you could repeat the power, you just can't.
Yep.
Like that's awesome.
Yeah, so you just shut off completely his kit. He just has to basically take a beating, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, super. Let's see. Do you guys want to talk about Psychic Shockwave really quick?
Yeah, of course.
So, unlike Doc Ock and Green Goblin, which need like a little bit of a setup to get their power going sometimes because it could be hard to generate, Supergiant actually generates power like at a pretty steady pace, especially with that checking for crits within a range. And Maw just like gets his power like 3 every turn. So them having 3 power each to make everybody potentially drop all their objectives is actually more reliable than you think. And this is like the one selling point I think I can say for like the Super Giant Maw combo. So I've seen it work. Like it actually is legitimately good if you choose to pick both characters in the game.
Oh yeah, that can actually work pretty good.
Yeah, but then you have to take Super Giants.
I mean, but if you're playing Black Order into like a Sanders, this is actually not that bad.
Yeah, no, I was just kind of joking, but
I
I
know.
can see worlds where this works.
Yeah, if the terrain actually makes sense, like I could potentially like try to take this in the Web Warriors list and see if that can actually ruin their day sometimes. Because especially if there's a lot of small characters that have small health pools, like that could be a big deal, you know, and also could like ease up on the scoring velocity of the scoring team, you know.
Yeah, it is funny that the art on the card does feature Web Warrior characters as well.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yep. If you flip
yeah,
it,
it's Miles and
Black Cat and Spider Woman.
See, it's doing the thing on the box.
They're telling you to play it that way.
That's the only way to play it.
And apparently you can only play Shush against Doctor Strange.
Yep. Good. Finally. No more boosting dice.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of Ebony, and then I guess the next one we'll go to is another. I think when AMG released Black Order, they did not think about splashability maybe as much as they do now. The second model to go through quite a bit of iterations is Cosmic Ghost Rider, and we've all seen him. I just started playing during CGR Guardians meta. On the emaps. He is different now. I don't think he's bad. I think he's arguably underplayed these days. But there's some stuff I see or have seen a lot. I know, Jin, this happened in your game yesterday, but I've seen it more than once, where he just doesn't go psychotic when you need him to anymore. And so you kind of have this kind of like 50-50 almost like, am I going to be able to... Oh, I don't think it's a bad thing inherently. I think it's just a thing that when you put him on the table, you have to think like he might have to play the mission some turns and he might have to go nuts on others. So, yeah, I mean, he's still like a powerhouse of attrition. Got the pull or the push towards with the incinerate. So overall, I think like if you're taking a 6 threat, that isn't Thanos. If you're going no Thanos, kind of unaffiliated, I guess you mentioned, Jin, then CGR is probably your best bet for like a heavy attrition piece.
Yeah, he's pretty fast and can move around the board, which is the thing I really like about him the most. The other thing is that you do have to be incredibly disciplined with his power, right? Because he only has so many ways to gain it. And in the game that I used him, like I think I kept rolling like maybe 1 or 2 power, like every ready to roll. Like, or was it Spirit of Vengeance, Spirit of the Cosmic, where he gets a roll during the cleanup phase for extra power. So yeah, it's one of those like you have to be willing to ride the chaos. It's like, okay, is he a scoring denial piece or he's just a attrition denial piece this turn, you know?
Yeah, and his base is massive too. So like that place, like you said, like interstellar hell cycle, like super good. But you have to make sure you're not like bumping too far if you want to go psychotic. You can kind of control if he goes psychotic to an extent, like right if you're at like 4 power, maybe don't spend a lot, you know, and if you need him for attrition next turn. So there's like some level of agency, but especially in the first turn he has it on him and then he drops it if he's less than 5 power or whatever. So there's some agency there, but like it is kind of random. Like I think the whole game I watched from you playing yesterday, Jin, he was always at 4 and never quite hit that attrition. You know,
yeah, that was really funny. Now, I will say though, like if you beginning of round 2, right? If he doesn't have the psychosis token, if you can just get an extract on him, then I think that's gonna encourage people to just like attack him because he does have like 9 health on the front side, so like he can certainly like afford to take a beating, you know.
Yeah, and he's 4/4/4 too, so like 9 health, 4/4/4, still pretty good. Especially if you need him to go psychosis, you like make him relevant, right? You know, typically your turn 1 play pattern with him is like move and try to hit someone who like threatens the midline.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's kind of like make him relevant, you know. So
yeah, like Marvel is one of those games you just have to keep rolling to see like how do I make this character relevant, or like what makes sense the most here, right? Pedro, did you get to play at all with Cosmic Ghost Rider as Black Order?
Yes, I actually have him in my list right now. I like him. I love him on Lockdown because the range 2 on the large base, you can kind of go anywhere and still be relevant in contesting, just in case you don't go psychotic or not. And people have been trying to play it more like still playing it because they're still getting used to the mission. They're playing it on like range 1, and if you pull them away the opposite direction, it completely takes them off the point. So I think he's still great. I also do a leaderless Black Order too sometimes, and I bring him with Red Skull, which is another play pattern that I don't think the Master of Hydra, I think the one with the grunts. So it's just like a really expensive team, but the grunts make up for him if he's staying in Psychosis. So he can go travel the lands and start murdering things. I think the spender is just too expensive. I think it should go back to 6 because now that no matter the cost is gone, I don't think it's relevant to use the spender as much unless you're really trying to kill something. But I think he's just awesome. I do like his tactics card, the Servant of Titans, because you could power dump with him just in case you need to really hold something later on.
Yeah, I got to use that my game with him, and it was pretty good actually.
Mm-hmm.
So he can buy into it, but a bunch of other Black Order models can buy into it, right?
Yes. Yep.
So
So everybody can spend 1 or more, and then you roll dice for that, which is actually really cool that that you can do it. And also, he does not have to spend for it. He just has to activate.
right, it has to be during its activation. So any
Yep.
number of Black Order players can pay only one though, so they can't pay more than one per
damn.
member.
I think
But
I played that wrong.
oh, whoops.
Oopsie. I pulled
But so as far as I know, like you can do 1 damage to an enemy character within 3.
Yep.
So what was really cool was that, and listeners, please let us know if I'm playing this wrong. But I paid for it, and I got either a crit hit or wild. So against Ultimate Miles, I was able to just throw 3 damage onto that guy, like like round 1, I think, which was really really cool.
I think you did play that right because it's for each. So yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, and that definitely helped sort of like whittle him down so that I can actually like KO him during the course of the game.
Yep.
Oh, Jin, you definitely played that right. It's definitely like 4 each hit crit wild blank.
Yeah.
You deal damage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
and
that's
it
totally accurate.
stacks if you're able to bring him with Thanos. It does stack if you do KO him because then you also get a victory point.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So if I'm taking leaderless Black Order, I'm definitely taking Service of Titan.
Yes.
When the Cosmic Ghost Rider's on the board.
Yep.
Yeah. And how do we feel about his other card? I was just reading it. Time travel, don't ask. I don't know. It seems like okay, weirdly. But I don't get it.
Let me see. If he's during the cleanup
phase, he has a
after
Psychosis token.
VPs, an ally Cosmic Ghost Rider that is not contesting objective token may spend 5 to play his card. The Cosmic Psychosis token, he may remove it. Move
live on air.
Yeah, right. Actually, this could be good if you're missing 1 point.
Yeah, if it's to close out the game, right? Like that could be a thing, but I think that the application's a little more narrow. The real thing is the fact that this sort of lets you drop the Psychosis token if you need him to be like a scoring guy. That's the main selling point for this card, right?
Yeah, probably not worth it because there's a lot of other good cards.
Now, the question would be, what happens first, your player effects or the scoring? Because can't you roll to gain the power to then play this card?
So
scoring happens first.
So yeah, scoring happens first, but you can choose to roll for your dice, right? And then use after you get your Psychosis token, right? You can then play this card to dump your Psychosis token, move medium, and then score.
Okay, but then if scoring happens first, can you dump your power?
It's an additional VP.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this is VP outside of the normal scoring because the normal scoring has already happened. Now you're in the player part of the cleanup phase, and you can use this to try to score one more point. Or
And
just use
so Pedro, your question too is like you could dump your power and then you roll.
Yeah, so then you could just go back to psychosis.
Well, if you roll really fucking well, yeah.
You gotta spend 5 to play this in the first place, and you lose your so
so then you need a perfect 5.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted. Okay.
Sure.
Well, I guess if you have like 8 power or something, right, and you spend 5, you could theoretically like do this score point and then go back.
Yep.
Yeah.
This card's an interesting spot because I feel like this was probably more of an interesting option when old Ghost Rider, when he was getting the extra power during the power phase, right?
Yes.
Because at that time, like he was probably nearly in psychosis like all the time, like during those days. So now that it's you have to be so much more disciplined to actually get him into psychosis, I feel like this is a less thing. You're less likely to need this these days. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Plus, like your 10's probably pretty tight. So, adding if you're already taking him and you're taking Servants of the Titan, adding a second card just for CGR seems a little bit hard.
Yeah.
Because we haven't gone over. Maybe we should just do that quickly. The Black Order affiliated cards that are not character tied, because then we will cover everything by the time we're done talking about the characters. So, like the just pull them up real quick. Those are crisis cards. Whoopsie daisies. So the Black Order cards themselves, you've got 6 of them. So we have like Black Onslaught. Maybe we will get to that one eventually. Never mind. What are the ones that are not tied? So Blood Despair.
Yep. Mothership. Price of Failure.
All right. So we got to talk about 3. So, and I think they're all worth taking. So,
yes. Yeah. I could say
Despair,
2 of them are like perfect.
Yeah. Blood Despair is.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to go over them before we talk about how we feel about them. So Blood Despair is a reactive. When a Black Order character will be dazed by an enemy effect, can spend 3 power. It immediately performs an attack before gaining the daze token. If the attack, I don't know why they added this because no one heals from damage dealt. But
super giant.
Oh, okay.
Venomize.
Maybe that's why I didn't notice that. Oh, you venomize? Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, outside these fringe things, if this attack results in the character removing damage, it's not dazed. Then we have Mothership. 2 Black Order characters can both spend 2. And you place one of the 2 characters that's not holding an extract within one of the other. And then the last one, Price of Failure, is an injured allied character who can play the card. Other characters gain 3 power, and then they're KO'd. Oh, I don't really like that one that much. But the other 2, Blood Despair and Mothership, are all pretty relevant, I think. Now you can talk about how you feel about them.
I was just saying I agree with you with Price of Failure because, I feel like you never have the amount of bodies to really make Price of Failure like actually worth it for you. Because usually you're running like, probably a 4 tall list, right? And losing 1 model is a huge deal, right? Unless it's like things have gone horribly wrong. But that's like you planning to be in a bad situation to play this card. And I feel like that's a wrong mindset to be in, play this.
Yeah. And like, why take it in your 10 if you're planning for a bad situation? You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't be planning for that. You should be planning for good situations.
Right. You're trying to be more proactive, right, with your things, which is also why, like, I made my rant about servants, not servants, but the First of the Black Order card as well. Like, I don't think it's a good leadership because I think Corvus inherently doesn't function without Thanos. But otherwise, love Blood Despair, and I love Mothership. I think those 2 are like kind of staple for most games.
Yeah, agreed.
Now the question would be, I probably played this incorrectly. Can you play Price of Failure on a Bob? Because technically he does not KO'd and then just feed the rest of your team.
So it depends on the wording of Bob, right? So if you were audience, let's go ahead and look at Bob's card.
Bob up.
Bob up for a second. Okay. So here's the thing. Bob has to not have an activated token. It would be KO'd by having damage tokens placed on it. Okay. Now, Price of Failure is not you KOing by damage tokens. He's just being KO'd. Therefore, he just disappears.
So he just disappears. Damn. Well, I almost got it.
Always looking for the loophole.
Always.
I only know this, Pedro, because I thought about that too. I was like, is the best 2 threat in Black Order Bob?
Yeah, right, Bob. Depth's Decree rocket launcher? Was it?
I mean, Depth's Decree rocket launcher is hella sweet. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I honestly like. I don't know. I know a lot of I know Jin, you were using Nebula at some point. I feel like we'll get to this later because we have to talk about splashes, but I do feel like with a 2 threat, you need a 2 threat that can score. It's like really hard not to have one because then you're down to 3 models. But that's a whole nother discussion. I feel that way. I'm not sure you do or not, but all right. So CGR we went through pretty much. He's still pretty good. Try him out. We got a couple more characters in the line here, so let's talk about my favorite model from the affiliation, Black Swan. So Black Swan absolutely needs the power gem. I don't think there's any arguments there. She just doesn't gain enough without it, to be honest, and you really need her charge online, like from the get go. She wants to be like running up and just basically being super obnoxious to your opponent. And the reason she's obnoxious is not her charge. It's not even her attacks. We'll go over those. She does have a really cool energy wild pierce, which you just don't, with auto incinerate, which you just don't see anymore. But the things I like the most about her were her midnight field, where she can spend any amount of power. And for each power spent, she changes wild in the opponent's attack roll. So when she's defending, she can midnight field. It literally turns off so many triggers in the game. It like just neuters people like Gambit. It's really good. It's really good even if they don't have a trigger because, wilds happen and you're like, oh, cool, I'm just going to turn that off and take less damage. And then she also has telepathic suggestion where she can force their opponent to re-roll a dice during their attack. So also very good, especially when you have like an I-beam. So if you're at like 2 power and you I-beam and have the power for telepathic suggestion, you can pierce and then make them re-roll another one. So she just pushes damage through like no other. She displaces on her strike at size 4, also very good. And then her everything dies spender. We already talked about I-beam. And then her everything dies spender, 4 costing spender, which is with the power stone again. Like it just turns that on super quickly. It's an 8 dice physical with a wild throw. But it also has this weirdly over the top hit trigger follow up where she gets to make an I-beam against the original character right after her everything dies. It is super good.
I should also note that throw is omnidirectional and sizeless. This can throw a sentinel.
Yep. Or a Dormammu. If that's something in your meta these days. Sentinel too. Yeah, it's funny that you said Sentinel first, and my mind just goes Dormy. I love Black Swan. I think I messaged Pedro at some point during my experimentation. And I was like, dude, Black Swan's like actually really good.
Yes, she is amazing.
She's tanky as shit too.
Yes. Yeah, turning off wilds is amazing. Especially on, like you said, like Gambit or things like if you use her against Steve 3 and like all the guys need wilds, it just shuts off like all the leadership's like triggers that he wants to do. Like, oh, my Gambit reserve member does nothing. My Sam does nothing. Like they're spending power to do nothing.
Yeah, I was trying to see if there was a place in Jarvis where you can filter by trigger type. There isn't, but I'd be willing to bet that maybe a little bit more than half of the models in the game who have triggers have a wild trigger or a wild in their trigger at some point.
Yeah, most triggers will have a wild component to them for the most part.
Yeah, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but like just even clicking around, it's all wilds. It's crazy. Like they just I don't know. In the games I've used her, like she held down kind of like a side of the board on her own, didn't die against like at least more than 5 threat, and just kind of sat there and like beat on them. So while taking no damage. And she always, with the Power Stone, she always has power. Because, she's moving, her play pattern is kind of like moving, charging, doing her strike maybe at first to gain some power, and then you're I-beaming people out their asshole. And it's just like when she's taking a couple things of damage, then the next attack you get, like say she takes 2 damage right on the first attack, cool. Now I can midnight field you on the second one, right? And take like less damage. So very solid model. Surprisingly solid.
Yes. Yep. I think she does it. I have had her spender whiff on me, and it does feel really bad. Like I've gotten a wild but no hit, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah, but that's like very unlikely.
Oh yeah, on 8 dice, especially if you defs to create, you're just like, oh geez, like this thing is dying.
Yeah, the numbers must be like, I don't know the dice statistics on a D8 off the top of my head, but like on a hit roll, it's an 8 facing dice. It's probably like up in the 90s that you hit a hit trigger.
At least a hit trigger. Yep,
definitely well more than half.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but I think she's awesome. I don't have a problem with her. I'm pretty sure a whole bunch of people are gonna yell in the Discord saying that we're wrong, but it's okay.
I don't know about that. No one really yells in our Discord, Pedro.
Oh, okay.
maybe somewhere else. Yeah, I guess the only thing is like, given the lethality of the game, like, do you think maybe she deserves like the Nick Fury stat line now, like a 7.6 maybe?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
That would be really good.
So that's probably
that'd be brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that be really bad.
That would make her. Maybe that's why people like sleep on her because of 6 health. But like, it hasn't been a problem for me, and I played into some like meta affiliations. Like, I played Black Order and like Shield over my practice games, and I was just like not taking damage even with the rerolls. Because obviously like they reroll first, so you're like, cool, you rerolled into 3 wilds. Dun, 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 dun. You're doing no damage.
Yep.
She's solid. Yeah.
And if you park her on cover, it's even better.
Oh yeah,
cover plus you turn off wilds. It's like you're really doing nothing this whole game. But I think that's where you have to manage your power. Even though yes, she does have a power gem, and she does get 3. You don't want to overspend on midnight fields to take nothing. You might want to take 1.
Yeah, you have to think about it, definitely. Like, I know sometimes you're like, oh, I kind of want to damage here for the next attack.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. But I think if you get that kind of power management down, she feels like a 5. Like, she actually feels like a 5 threat.
Yes.
Like, which is not... It's kind of like, some of the other models in this affiliation, like, you add the gem and you're like, well, they're almost there.
Yes.
But she is definitely, I'm even like considering like throwing her in a dorm list for a little while, seeing how that goes as a 5 threat, because she's like kind of worth it. With Dorm though, it's just Dorm and Power Stone. Now you're talking 3 power return, and that just seems stupid.
You're talking 4 power return.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Wait,
because it's 2 for the Power Stone, 1, and then 1 for the lead.
Oh right, I forgot the Power Stone goes 2. I should have probably remembered that.
Yep. Because you can basically move, charge, I-beam, and then still also telepathic suggestion someone.
Yeah, or pick up an extract or something.
Yeah, whatever you want. Or you can probably can Dorm teleport people? No, damn. If you can find a way to if you can find a way to move. Oh yeah, if you lockjaw, move and then immediately spender someone.
It's pretty brutal.
You're just like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. So
here you go.
I have done that. I've done that. I've used her in Professor X maybe like 5 or 6 times, where I just feed her power until she's on 6, and she still has a Power Stone. So you just gotta feed her 3, really. Yeah. And you just move, charge, spender someone, and then since you did the charge, you can pass the power to Professor to give you a reroll.
Oh, very true. I don't think she needs reroll.
No, definitely not. But that's just rub in the dirt.
Yeah, Jian, how do you feel about Black Swan? I know you're kind of praising her, but you just haven't said much.
I think she's basically the most well-rounded like model. Like, she's got displacement, she's got good attacks, right? She's got good tech into a lot of different models. She's vulnerable to the same thing that a lot of Black Order models are vulnerable to, which is conditions. She has a relatively lower health pool with no DR, unlike the other characters. So she's really depending on Midnight Field, right, to save her at the end of the day. And like you guys mentioned, this is a theme of a lot of these models, is that you have to be so disciplined with their power, like management, right, to make sure you have the things online that you want to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And she does also have a tactics card. It is currently in my list, although I have not ever taken Black Swan and Black Dwarf together.
So do you want to talk about Black Dwarf first before we talk about that tactics card?
Oh, yeah, let's do that. So moving on, we got Black Swan, last model in the affiliation. We got Black Dwarf. Black Dwarf is a thing. He has Enforced Oblivion, which is the best thing on his card.
That is a false statement.
Oh, yeah.
That is cap, as the kids would say at the moment.
Yeah. Wait, what? What do the kids say?
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
Steven. Oh. It's a lie.
The only thing I know about like the younger generation is like there's this big movement where people keep going 6-7, and I don't fucking understand it. So
it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't have to mean anything. It's just nonsense.
It blows my mind.
What? Wait. You and your friends just collectively buy into nonsense?
Yes.
No, I definitely do that. But yeah, okay. Black Dwarf. I mean, like, his kit's not terrible. I've used him in New Mutants actually before, because he's got the bodyguard, the taunt, and he's got a large base, and he's got a throw.
Yep, and it's a bill throw too, which is a good throw.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's got damage reduction, still a little bit lower on health. I think they were still... Well, on his flip side, he's 8. Impossible to take down.
Yep.
Got a stagger, granted, he's really difficult to gain power because he's just so slow. But I don't know. It's like not a bad kid. Maybe I think this one needs just like a couple things to be better. Obviously, Enforced Oblivion should just be a normal goddamn charge.
Yeah, and it's not even a charge. It's a spend 2 to do a normal move action, and if you want to make a second action attack, then you get the 2 dice added to it.
Yeah. So action compression again is like the name of the game here. So, yeah, I can't believe they wrote that.
This is old school MCP writing. That's why.
Yeah.
They were like, big base charge. I don't know if we should do that. That might be too broken.
Yeah, let's just give a medium base with an L move a charge.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It's a pretty solid kit. It's the only like kind of stagger you have access to in the affiliation. So.
There's Super Giant.
Oh my god.
I'm just ignoring that model.
I wonder if this model just needs a charge and an actual reduce by 1. Not to a minimum, just straight reduce.
Yeah, that would be pretty
a bill
good.
Reduce. That's it.
I think he definitely needs a little zhuzh up on his attacks and to help him generate power. Like he just needs better power generation. That's the main problem with him.
Yeah.
Is that
because he's not, unlike the other characters, he has no option to take a stone. So there's no way you can create. So he has to rely on his kit, basically.
Yeah. You need to either get him to 2 power and start taunting attacks immediately that hopefully keeps that train going. Or you need to hit big with a 6 dice builder, which is not the worst thing, but it's not anything remotely guaranteed, right? To get to the 3 or 5 power that you need him to have.
It's also range 2 without a real charge. So
again, this model really needs, Space Stone Cosmic Portals, right, to get him into position in the first place. And that feels really rough. That it's like, okay, well, I'm playing Thanos. Like, do I want to spend 4 threat on Black Dwarf, or do I just put it towards the budget of taking the other black characters instead that are more efficient?
Or a splash at this point too.
Or a splash, yeah. It's like, do I just? I mean, I could just take Shang-Chi instead, you know?
Or Bill. Shang-Chi or Bill are better than this kid. So.
Yeah.
Actually, sadly, Bill is probably just a better 4 threat, right? To just walk, pick up something, and then he'll just have a throw online next turn.
Yeah, because he's kind of designed to do that. Like, Black Dwarf's kit looks like a Bill. It looks like a Bill.
Yeah.
Right? So, but it looks like hybrid between like a Bill role and a Luke Cage role. So, yeah.
I wonder if
But
he would benefit from a place one like Rhino.
oh, maybe.
Oh, like some sort of like a leap
Yeah.
situation, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, like make his axe strike like 6 dice, range 3 with a 1 place. That
Yep.
would be pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
they-
anytime I've seen him in a comic book, he's always jumping from an aircraft. Like, always, that's how he starts everything off. He never just, like, appears.
Yeah. He is a good candidate for Mothership, though, even as kid as is.
Yeah. I mean, he is on
he's
the
pretty
card.
solid to... Yeah, that's true. Well, also just getting that intimidating presence online next to your extract holder,
Yeah.
right? Like if he's not holding,
Yep.
it's a good like way to use that card, I think.
Yeah.
And then we have the Black Swan. I guess he's in love with Black Swan or something like that in the books.
So the way I understand it is that so he and Corvus are brothers, right? And they were both interested in Proxima, but I think Black Dwarf, being the bigger man, literally, decides to just let his brother like suit her instead. So later on, he got a crush on Black Swan, and she may or may not reciprocate the feelings.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Interesting. Well, they're both on the tactics card, the art, and they have a thematic rule here tactics card where if Black Swan is within 2 of an allied Black Dwarf, when she uses her charge, they can each spend 1, and then you can replace Black Dwarf within 1 of hers. So basically, they just kind of like teleport together on a medium move. Could be good on a B map, I guess.
So with the power gem, you can do this round 1, right? So you move Black Swan like medium in front of Dwarf, right? Still staying within 2. Then you go do your charge, pay the 1, since you have the power gem, right, as well, and he also pays the 1. And then you can just ride in. She does a builder, and then he can hopefully, survive whatever activation they do, and then he can start trying to generate power.
Yep.
Yeah, you could also do this, like, even if you can't hit anyone with Black Swan, just to get him up there and relevant, early. Because, like, you can charge without actually without actually hitting anyone, correct?
Correct. Yes, you don't have to make the attack.
Yeah, so, like, you could theoretically, if you really need to get him just, like, mid-board, turn 1, that'd be a good card for that, too, so... it's pretty solid card, actually.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, if you insist on playing Dwarf, like, you might as well play him with Power Swan, right? And just give him a little bit of, positional fixing.
Yeah. That's why I think he needs a leap.
CGR. Yeah, so he can, like, have his own kit.
Yeah, so he could just, like, leapfrog everywhere.
There's a theme here a little bit that I know our fellow podcast mate Sean would probably notice, where almost none of these kits fund themselves.
Yes.
It's very little, so they need like support constantly, which is part of the problem with Black Order right now, I think.
Right. So like let's say that's an overall theme, right? Is that it's like you rely so much on your leader to help you move your characters around, right? But he costs such a large budget of your list, he's going to take up half the points that most of the time you have to take like a very limited amount of models in the first place in your squad, right? You're only going to be like 3 wide, maybe 4 wide. A lot of times if you take Thanos.
And from my own experience playing Dormammu, 3 wide is not good, especially currently. It's just like you just can't score efficiently, or like keep pace, so your opponent can just like outscore you, which feels pretty bad. So, that's definitely part of the problem.
Once in a while, you'll draw like a jailhouse, right, and like an alien ship or a deadly legacy virus, and that our Montesi book, and that feels like okay. But the vast majority of games are going to be at least like 7 points, right, or more most of the time.
Yeah. 7 usually is probably where you're looking at with an attrition list, most often. So these days, because you get to pick at least. So yeah, but that being said, we should quickly talk about splashes, and we might just want to do splashes that just give ideas. So in my New Mutants fashion, for my own list, I added Taskmaster in there so I could go wider. I have Zemo for obvious reasons,
Mhm.
Nebula, and Lady Sif. Lady Sif is like comparable to a Shang-Chi. I just wanted to not use Shang-Chi, so that's why she's in there. But those are currently what I'm playing around with. A Red Skull 2 is another good option. What do you guys have?
I have Red Skull 2, so the one with the grunts. Taskmaster, just to fit. I play Nebula, Zemo, and then Prowler. Because Prowler, I feel like, is pretty good. He can do the pay to flips, so you don't have to waste any power on anyone else, because he does get it back. And then, like on a Macron, you can like hit all 3 points, and if you have 2 power, you can probably.
Wait, did you just call it Macron?
Yeah, it's a Jersey thing. Macron. If you have 2 power, you can reliably hit all 3 points if you need to. Also, you can Death's Decree him and re-roll everything, because you do have the ability to re-roll all your dice just in case.
I kind of like Death's Decree on his range 4 can't modify when he's flipped.
Oh yeah,
a lot.
Yeah,
eight
that dice no re-rolling is a drug.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I have him, and then Red Skull I actually use a lot with Cosmic Ghost Rider, just because sometimes he can't score, so then the grunts at least score for me.
Yeah.
So that's like
again the name of the game here is still murder. Attrition and like trying to kill. Yeah. So.
Yep. And I think 2 characters that count blanks, rolling 6 dice or 7 is very good.
Yeah, you're talking about Corvus, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corvus and
Jin. What do you have in your list currently too?
I think you guys have mentioned all of them. Like, I don't know if you want to go any further. But I do want to shout out Gambit, just because like whenever you add dice to his math, right, it gets kind of crazy. So specifically, I'm taking him 19 threat lists. So I can take Thanos, Corvus, Proxima, and Gambit. That's my 19.
Yeah, sorry, I just did a big sigh because, and Jin, you talked about this in our year review episode, actually. It's like, I don't know, you hit a certain point in the game, and it's like the same splashes in every list you're trying to make work. It's just such a bummer. But they're kind of meta monsters for a reason, and
right. But specifically, Gambit's like the same reason you take him in Avengers, right? Because you can add dice and also like have that fixed dice spacing. While we don't have the fixed dice spacing here, like Gambit, like on his interested rolling, like an 8 dice kinetic ace or a 9 dice 52 card pickup, like that's crazy.
Yeah, with double wilds, it's awesome.
Oh yeah. I mean, Gambit's obviously very strong.
Yeah, but like he does scale up with the dice, right? So that's why he's here. More so than he's just good.
Yeah. Another option, I guess, because I do think like you need a pay to flip. Like you mentioned, Pedro. I think if you want a 3-threat pay to flip option, you could take Black Panther, Chosen of Bast. I just know in terms of splashes, he's been thrown around recently in my neck of the woods. The 2-threat becomes more interesting, actually. I have Nebula in my list. I don't like that, actually. Because if you're adding Nebula, it means you're probably... I love her on... I mean, she's really, really, really good on... what is that? The new one.
Lockdown?
Lockdown, yeah. But I think part of the problem, again, is like, in typical attrition team fashion, and for those who don't play attrition teams, you can go down on scoring like for 1 or 2 rounds as long as your attrition, is like solid and you're like hitting out. Like, for example, I play a lot of Dormammu, obviously, and when I play into webs, 6 wide, 6 or 7 wide webs is a very challenging matchup.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're playing a different game than the webs are playing. They're like, oh, I'm going to score a lot in these first 2 turns, and you're saying I'm going to kill as much as I can. So
yeah.
But if you go down without, with only 3 models wide, when you're in that position and you go down like 4 points one round, it's unless you murder their whole team, which is likely impossible in most games because they're 6 wide, right? They can just run away at that point. To an extent, obviously depends on the situation, but I'm just saying in general, you having only 3 pieces that can score, it just like doesn't work out for the most part. So like I'm almost on the fence about, I think I like that Bob idea, where you can use his rockets on his flip side, and it's like 13 dice. So, or even a 11 dice rocket on the healthy side. But like, anyways, like I think I have to play around a little bit with my 2. I'm not sold on Nebula. I'm thinking like leaning more towards like a scoring, something that can score or hold a secure or something.
You could double 2 in a Black Order list and then have it where it's like,
that's true too.
If you are playing like a Witness or something where you can like tractor beam people off with Thanos and, you know, start moving stuff, you could have like Nebula there to like just be like, you know, tractor beam them towards her and then start wailing into them. So that's like an option that you could do. And or you could put like Wong, and then Wong starts getting, or like Bob, because that's attrition, but like Wong's power passing does start putting things online for a lot of characters.
Or healing, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Wong could be solid too, because like say Black Swan is down to like, I don't know, 4 or 5, she's taking 4 or 5 damage. Like healing that on like a model like her, or like even Thanos with a DR, or even, you know, Corvus and Proxima with the DR, like healing on those models just feels real bad for your opponent.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
It's really hard to make that damage back.
Yeah, and on the website, on the Web Warriors part of it, like say if someone has a Black Cat and they like stagger your Corvus and run away, you could remove the condition with Wong.
Also true.
Mm-hmm.
And Jen, you were going to say something?
I mean, it's when you're playing this faction, right? I think it's going to be dicey to begin with, right? So the 2 threats need to either like score points or deny points, right? So like as long as you approach it from either of those, like just doing one of those things, then that's fine. My thing about Nebula is that like I really am enjoying that for a very low cost for 2 threat. I can put a lot of like attrition pressure onto like a part of the board that I wouldn't need to invest of like one of the 5 threats, right? 2 instead.
Yeah, very true. I don't think any of the 2 threats are bad, you know, to take. I just think it depends on like what you're looking for and kind of like how your experience has been playing Black Order, right?
Yeah,
not Spider-Ham.
Yeah, please do not. Well, I mean, the hammer, a Death's Decree hammer seems really good.
Oh, you know what? I take that back. Actually, Death's Decreeing his gainer for the triggers actually is kind of cool.
Yes.
Ham. You poor Ham.
Yep.
Yeah. Who are the other 2? Well,
This
also
Toad.
if you're taking Red Skull 2, Toad's always good. If you're taking Red Skull 2 as well, you could make an argument for not taking a 2 threat, or just taking Nebula.
Yeah.
Because then Red Skull 2 can like his grunts can basically play that 2 threat role for you.
Yep.
So
yeah, that's the reasoning for me. Like I play Deadline, so I could just park the grunts on the back one. Yeah, they're not going to be shooting, which is okay, but at least they're scoring me 1, and then Red Skull's just going around punching things really hard.
Yeah.
They also can just rotate and hit the buttons on the Deadline, which is really fun.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so we did there's many more splashes you could consider. We're not going to cover them here because I don't know, it seems pointless. But I do think in general, one thing to say is that like right now, I do think like you need a couple splashes with the Black Order roster to get it to function a little bit better.
Yeah.
And so we can go over Christ. We went over all the Texas cards and stuff. We went over other things, but let's talk about a little bit about what kind of crisis you bring. I mean, in a normal attrition style, you can reference our Dormammu episode on this, but you're going for low points, probably building to try to bring a higher threat level. So like perfect missions for you might be like Montesi, or hammers maybe, or you probably want to try to go above 17, I guess, or like another one. You could run it Mcron, you could run intrusions, wedding party, you know, things like that. Because you do have a surprising amount of displacement, so wedding party and Fisk aren't terrible actually, but I'm not sure the 16 is great for them.
Oh, you have Thanos, right? A threat Thanos, Reality Stone Corvus, and Proxima. That's 16.
Yeah, that's like your normal 16 you always do.
Oh,
yep.
Or you could do A threat Thanos, Red Skull, and Proxima.
Yeah.
Yep. You can also do, and if you want to play a little spicy, it's not that great, but you could do Corvus, and then CGR and Red Skull. And then you can also have 2 forms of displacement. Or you can even put Black Swan in there too. So you could do Black Swan with CGR, and then you also do Red Skull on the 16. Because then you have enough pushes, because Black Swan's going to push, CGR pushes, and then you have Red Skull that pushes. So you have enough control there as well.
Yeah, so actually they have a really pretty solid plan for Fisk.
Yeah. The other thing too is Thanos, the one immunity does have a stun, so he can actually like stand on a fist point like relatively okay.
It gives 0 fucks, yeah.
You can also mothership, like if you double move to a point, or if you if you double move tractor beam someone off, you can possibly mothership someone if you were able to get one more power. So you can like move Space Stone, punch someone, mothershipping Corvus, and then you probably go with Proxima next turn to then husband and wife and like kill something on the other point.
And so like I don't know, normal kind of attrition things, right? Fisk, Legacy Virus, Hammers, possibly Alien Ship, maybe Montesi for sure, and then like Deadline they're probably solid into, so Deadline Fisk, Meteors probably also pretty good on, and Lockdown.
I would say so.
And then like Mcron, Intrusions. So there's a lot of options in secures. Your extracts are a little limited, but I think in general what you build for low extracts.
Yeah, it'd be low scoring, and you just want to like put the pressure like right off the rip. I don't think you want to like play around with your food. Essentially, you just want to like go in and just put all the gas.
Yeah. Specifically for Inhuman Weapons, I'll shout out to because it's like 4 things on the midline, right? It will encourage someone to be exposed to the midline, and they should be available to be interacted with in some sort of attacks.
I gotta say, I love that mission, and it took me a long time to come around to it. But then when you start realizing how much you can punish people, it's pretty awesome.
Yep.
So we've gone. I feel like for our listeners, or especially for our regular listeners, we've gone over this quite a bit because we just did the dorm episode. So, and I think in general, and maybe we'll talk about this in like a different segment, but like when you're building an attrition list at this point in time before they change the missions, there's like certain ones you try to build for, and they're pretty similar across every attrition list. So. Same with mission plane list, to be fair. It's like a kind of similar stack at this point because there's 5, because it's 5 now instead of 3.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, all right. That'll change, obviously, in like March, April when we get some updates and probably a bigger mission pool, hopefully. So we'll see how that whole situation unveils. But we don't have to do that. I don't think we should talk about how you can beat them. Because you can do a lot to beat them. As mentioned, they don't like conditions. And if you can kill one of their high-value models pretty early, they're just going to be neutered because they're only 4 wide. Like, say you go 4 wide with Nebula and you kill Black Swan relatively early. Now they're out of 5 threat, and they're not going to be able to bring back that attrition game, especially if you're outscoring them.
Yeah. That you just want to try to last, like either score out or last to round 6 to get all the points. Also, reminder for everybody: Thanos does not have Cosmic Portal on his injured side, so if you do injure Thanos, he cannot teleport his friends around afterwards.
Oh,
yeah, he loses.
I may have played that incorrectly.
Oh boy, it's okay. You're learning.
No, I don't think I actually did. No, because I'm thinking about the situation in that game, and I'm pretty sure I didn't do it after that, and I just used the gems because I was like already in the middle. We were playing on like Wedding Party, so we were already by the point.
Yeah. And to add on to it, it does work vice versa. You killing their 5 threat is great, but also if you're killing their 2 or 3 threat and like trying to get it off the board is also great because you can only really go 4 wide. If you don't play Thanos, you can go 5. But you killing their like Nebula and their Proxima, like you're only left with like 2 options. So like
I lost a Proxima early one game, and that felt real bad.
Yeah, it is backbreaking if you end up losing her, because you can't husband and wife, you can't secure your. at that point you're securing your priority, but you're just doing nothing the rest of the game.
Yeah. Or you lose like the one person who can like reliably hold on to an extract and get around the board.
Yes.
You know, like especially Proxima.
Yep.
But yeah, so you know, I'm hoping in general for those who want to start the affiliation, there's a Black Order box. I believe that's still in print.
I think so. Yes, with 4 of them, not the one with Black Swan or Supergiant. I think it has the original 4.
Yeah, it has Thanos, Corvus, Proxima, and Black Dwarf.
Yes.
And then there's a separate box with Proxima and
so
Supergiant.
The Black Order box does not have Thanos in it. That's a separate purchase.
Oh.
So it's a Corvus, Proxima, Black Dwarf, and Ebony Maw, which is the original 4-pack.
Right. Yep.
But yeah, I
think I own all of that. Is Thanos his own box?
Yeah,
he comes in the box, thing. Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and updates can change because also we do have Adam coming out. Not saying he would be affiliated to Black Order because we don't know, but there are gems that are coming in his box. In the back of the box, it says that he comes with gems. We don't know if they're going to be reworking some of these gems because on the podcast they did say that they had to rework some gems while they were playing him. So we don't know if we might get an update or not.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
And I think they're probably going to end up releasing a packed box at some point, meaning there might be some card updates for Black Order too. So
yeah,
it could be I think overall, you know, like I don't do tiers, but I'll say like they're definitely playable. And I think if you're a devoted Black Order fan, there's still like you could still do pretty well with them. There's just like a lot of, you know, there's a lot of like you need to be cognizant of your power management. You need to make sure you're taking the right splashes. You need to kind of identify what models you're bringing on which mission, and you also have to make sure that you're putting attrition pressure on. Like pressure points is huge for them. Making sure you have 2 points of pressure. Typically speaking, Jin taught me that lesson, but it is a very good attrition lesson where no matter what your opponent does, it's like a bad choice, right?
Yeah.
Attrition wise. So kind of like making sure you like don't stack, you know, like Thanos and Black Swan in like one corner and have like Proxima in the other with like your 2 threat and just like sitting there with not any ability to kind of like affect the board state. So you have to be really careful with model placement, I think in general. So, but I do think they're not as bad as other affiliations necessarily. They're not in a great spot right now.
Yeah, they need some
just
work.
trying to look on the bright side.
Yeah, no, they need some work. They have extremely interesting play patterns. I've done things where it's like we can go like a quick segment is you can play Blood to Spare, which is basically you get to attack. If you daze, you get to attack anything. You could be like holding an objective with Proxima, do the spear throw into someone to place yourself behind them, so then your opponent doesn't get the extract. So like there's plays like that, or like, you know, Corvus is holding something, he plays the card, he does the spender medium move. So you could also play a game where it's like I'm holding stuff, and then if you hit me, I'm going to basically yeet all my stuff to the back. So you cannot actually get it. So then that forces them to come into you, which then just puts more pressure onto a lot of players. Because you're like, oh, okay, I don't want to stand next to a fully powered Corvus next round because I just dazed them. You know, so I think they have amazing play patterns that you just have to try out if you're just starting them out. And just be very experimental with your splashes and everything, because it could work in your favor, or it could just be, you know, you tripping over. But don't give up on a character in this list just because it didn't work out the first or second time. Like, they do require a lot of patience. It's not an easy thing to think.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pedro. Yeah, I really like the Blood Spare call out to just like not, because you don't have to attack the person that caused you the daze, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which leads to some very interesting patterns.
Yes.
So yeah, it's definitely a high skill like affiliation. You have to be so on point with like resource management and like target priorities, and also like understanding like what's your line to win, right? And most time it's going to be like slowing the game down so you can score out, or you're just taking someone out before they get to their final score of 16, right? So it's very interesting to play that game.
Yeah.
Also super rewarding. The games I played with them where you do things like that and like keep attrition pressure and like make your opponent score less, like feel really great. So it's like very, kind of like webs when you're doing webs well, you different style, but like when you're playing webs well, you're doing these nifty things for like model placement and scoring more rather than making your opponent score less. But like it's like a very rewarding thing when you like position yourself well and make sure you're putting on the pressure to like just like get that win, which has to do with high skill. So
yeah, and it's a fun team because you just roll buckets of dice. So if you like rolling dice, this is the team to go with.
Plus they're the bad guys, right?
Yes.
So so that's pretty cool. I hope someday too they release. This is the second time I mentioned it, but it's been on my mind. They like do the Eternals, and like there's some kind of weird Thanos overlap there, or like something like that. But it'd be cool to do like a Black Order Eternal game,
Oh, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, for those who don't know, our listeners, Thanos was an Eternal on Titan. So
yes, his brother is something like a member. Also, I think the brother's something Fox or something like that.
Eros, right?
Isn't it
his like? Yeah, because Thanos in Greek, Thanatos, actually means like death, and that's Thanos, right? In the comics, he's obsessed with death. Eros is love, and weirdly enough, for those who don't know, Freudian psychology, drives are based on those two primary drives, the Eros and Thanatos.
Yep.
So,
yeah, there you go.
Fun fact. Now you know.
You know.
So, any kind of final thoughts here from either of you?
Not really. I think they're just a lot of fun. The sculpts have always been awesome. I think they're great. I think they still hold up, especially being sculpts from so many years ago.
Yeah,
I think they hold up and they look awesome. If it's your first time and you want to intimidate someone and you have a fully painted Black Order across the board, it looks incredible. Like,
I have to say, my Thanos is one of my best painted models. So.
Yes, it is menacing to see it, and you're like, okay, what's gonna go on here? But we definitely went over it. It's extremely rewarding to play it. I have fun playing it. I always go back and forth with either like Shield and Black Order. I always try to make it work, but it's something you just don't give up. And then the new Crisis Pack can completely change everything. They can be, we can get one more mission if they spoil one, and then it's like, oh, okay, now, blood's back on the menu because now it's a new EMAP and everybody's in the middle again. And then it's like, okay, here we go. So it could be, I would start, if you're going to start, I would do it now. Learn that, yes, you're going to have bad things happen to you, and there's the crisis packet does score a little fast, but if you can, like how Steven and Jin, put it, if you can have pressure put onto your opponent early and you're doing well with it, when those updates come out, it would feel incredible because you're like, oh, now I know exactly what to do. And now it feels better.
Yeah. And Jin, anything?
Nope. Please buff these models, AMG.
Jin's like, this isn't rewarding enough for me.
Yep,
I'm going back to webs.
Going back to webs.
No, actually, my vacation in the Black Order land has been very fun. Actually, I would definitely pull these guys out for fun, like casual games, because I think there's something to be gained from playing them. At the end of the day, it definitely rewards a specific skill set nurturing. So
yeah.
But hey, I won't say no to some buffs though, AMG, if you are willing to give us a bone or two.
Yeah. Just super giant.
Throw Thanos a bone.
He is inevitable, but he also needs a team to support him.
Yes.
They're very fun, I will say, because from my kind of like final thoughts, they're it's really fun to like. The best affiliations in my mind are often like ones where I get really excited enough to like read comics or like watch the movies. And I think, just watch the Infinity Saga from Avengers, and it's just like you get so excited to like play Black Order and put him on the table and paint him up. And so like I think that alone is kind of like worth it because it's fun to put Thanos on the table.
Yeah.
He's Thanos, right?
Yep.
So,
yeah, just the opening scene makes you want to do it. Not even the rest of the movie. Yeah. It's just like that is what I want to do to Asgard right now.
Yeah. Well, maybe not anymore since they lost all their throw.
Yeah, I
know. But yeah, they're great, and I guess we can start to get going. Mm-hmm. So you can follow us on Facebook. You know what? Should I just delete this from our fucking hype? I don't use the Facebook.
Who uses Facebook?
I use it occasionally, but not really. So you can follow us on our Discord link below. You can email us with anything at aliveandone@gmail.com. We have a link to Jin's RSMP channel or Jin's videos on RSMP below. Leave a review on Apple and Spotify. Oh, thank you for coming on tonight, Pedro.
Oh, of course. Of course. No, it's okay.
I always forget to thank the guests.
I'm the abandoned stepchild. It's okay. I got to go into my closet.
Oh boy.
Pedro, where would you like people to find you if they want to contact you in the chat about MCP or Black Order?
No, I'm on the Alive on One Discord and just a regular. I'm actually on the Black Order and the Shield unofficial one. So if you guys have any questions, you can ask. And that's really it. And
your
my handle's Prime,
right?
So if you guys have any questions or any weird thoughts, just let me know.
You have some weird thoughts, but we don't have to get into those now. Our huge miniature affiliate link is below. And without further ado, Godspeed, Thanos. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Good night.